the rapidly changing climate is sounding an alarm to the world to step up on adaptation, to address loss and damage, and to act now to keep 1.5 alive.
So the science is clear, it's unequivocal. In fact, we see it in Technicolor each and every day on our TV screens across the world, the impacts that a 1 degree Celsius rise is having on our weather and climate. The reason that it stirs so much passion in the people here around me is that climate change and its impacts is fundamentally an injustice. It impacts the people around the world most who are least responsible for causing the impacts. So that social justice piece is centre of climate injustices.
I am at COP26 to raise global awareness and consciousness around ways to protect and heal Mother Earth, all while our shoreline continues to disappear.
I'm here in the Blue Zone, listening into all of the discussions, debates. We're involved in a series of events where we're bringing the science to the discussions, and the negotiators are listening to that science loud and clear, and that's been brought into the deliberations. The University of Hull has a range of activities here within COP. We're exhibiting as part of the COP26 Universities Network, so a big network of UK universities. We have a series of our researchers presenting their research to the delegations here, for everything from Pac-Man simulated games of how coral reefs are changing in an acidic ocean future, through to lots of the work that we're doing as part of our National Environment Research Council work on evolving flood risk, for example. We're also here in partnership with the National Youth Theatre for a keystone performance here at the COP26, which is all about vulnerable coastal communities and communities on the edge. So that'll be a real highlight for us. Just engaging different voices in the discussion around the climate crisis.
I'm today in a green zone at the Youth and Public Empowerment Day at COP26, and I will be showcasing our ocean acidification game called Crabbys Reef.
So how does that work? Tell me.
So we used Pac-Man, which is very well known,
Yes.
but we also wanted to make ocean acidification, which is a hidden process of climate change, more accessible to people. So we used Pac-Man, but instead of the Pac-Man, you are the crab. And instead of the ghost, you have to actually run away from octopuses. You have to keep eating the pellets to make sure that you can actually survive and keep your energy levels. But with every level that you succeed surviving, the ocean will become more and more acidic, as the pH gauge will tell you. So the question is, how long can you survive? Your vision will be more and more impaired. And that is just representative of our research that has shown that crabs will be more and more impaired in their ability to smell their food. So ocean acidification is a process that happens because the CO2 that we put into the atmosphere is absorbed by the ocean, it reacts with the water, it produces carbonic acid, which dissociates, so it's basically disintegrating, and therefore it forms acid. It makes our oceans more acidic to what they are today. This process happens everywhere, but in some parts it just happens a bit more than in others. What it does to the animals is that it actually impairs corals in growing the shells. It impairs snails and other creatures that need it for calcification. And it also, as we found, impairs the sense of smell of marine organisms.
So which molecule is this?
So this is GGR, glycine arginine. It is what we think something very similar to what crabs use during taking care of their babies, or oysters when they want to settle.
We support businesses who are innovating in flood resilience to help them get their products and services to market more rapidly by linking them with resources and research coming out of the university and academics and their expertise. We're already very much seeing the impacts of climate change on flooding, and it's a very real and very present problem that we're having. So that's where flood resilience comes into it. The water is increasing. We do need to deal with it now. Yesterday I was here demonstrating our sustainable drainage interactor, and today I'm here talking about Mytopia.
I believe we can secure a better future. And what a profound and noble task.
Not enough get up and go. And now, with the government and with the CBI and other people endorsing what's happening, so nobody can do it alone. Now you've got this massive hydrogen investment, carbon capture investment, array of the CBI, the economic cluster, we're definitely going to be the Silicon Valley of renewables. The City of Hull is one major university, and we are an anchor institution. We are a catalyst. We have a responsibility to the region, the country, and the world. We've always cared about the world because of the great Humber storming out. But the university looked at our location, brilliantly. They set up an energy and environment institute. That means cross-disciplinary. We've had a tremendous session hosted by Reckitt with the CBI present, representative from the Mayor of Freetown and from the Mayor of the leader at Hull. And it's all about how no one can solve climate change alone. The estuary, one of the greatest carbon-dense centres of the UK, really can go net zero. And if we can do that, we can show the world.
Well, the University of Hull is leading the way with that climate research and that investigation into climate change, and obviously it's so important for the city because we're a city that basically an estuary city, a city on the coast, and we would be most at threat from climate change. So we really need our academic partners like the University of Hull to, in a sense, do that work collaboratively with business, with the council, with government, to ensure that we come up with the solutions that ensure that, in a sense, cities like ours, in a sense, have a future and a sustainable future, and that can only be done in cooperation and collaboration.
So at the moment we're in the setup period for On the Edge. So that's the co-created piece between the National Youth Theatre and the University of Hull. I'm the lead for the Risky Cities project. That's an Arts and Humanities Research Council funded project which looks at using arts to raise climate awareness and build flood resilience. We work with a range of partners. One of the ways we're doing our work is through large-scale installations and interventions, including working with the National Youth Theatre on MELT and on the Edge here today at COP26.
Flowers for me, I'll keep them, I hate it.
The question we explore a lot in the cabaret is what can art do that politicians and climate activists and scientists can't? And we're looking at why, is it worth bringing an emotional talking point on climate as opposed to just leaving it to the scientists?
What can artists bring to the fight against climate change?
And what's great about this form of cabaret is we have so many incredible acts that have all given their own very personal take on the climate crisis.
We started the process with a load of lectures from professors at the University of Hull, so there's a lot of science, which is not normally how a kind of drama devising process works. And then we did a load of devising, and then eventually we had a script. So it's been really interesting, lots of different stages. And today, performing at a conference space, again, is unlike anything really I've done.
Crying blood, almost blinded by my...
These are real people's lives, and I think it's so important that people know what they've gone through and how close to home it is for us. It's not crazy far away, it's not in a different country. Coastal areas in the UK are affected, and when you see people reenacting these things and talking about these things as if they were their own lives, it might make it more relatable to other people.
In a world where we can't help but contribute to greenhouse gases.
COP26 is obviously a really big and current and important event, and I think with all of my spoken word and the work that I'm trying to do, it's speaking for the young people, mostly what I feel, because learning from putting things out, people can relate a lot of the time to what you're saying, and so it's making people feel heard and seen, and especially for young people, because I think we're a very important part of this.
Good luck, baby.
Theatre storytellers connect to the emotion all the time, and I think campaigners, leaders, world leaders, don't always do that, and there's a real vacuum in truth as a result, and there's a real vacuum in the response of hearing the message, whereas young people speaking from their heart about something they care the most about really has a greater impact, and that's why theatre is so important. That's why the partnership with Hull University is so vitally important.
It was very impressive.
It was superb, yeah, it was superb, very progressive.
Really impressed how the arts and theatre can give really strong messages. I think it's the way forward for sharing knowledge with the public. Excellent.
History has been made here in Glasgow. And what we now need to ensure that the next chapter charts the success of the commitments that we have solemnly made together in the Glasgow Climate Pact.